Live from the Ball Arena here in Denver, Colorado, it is the final Monday Night Raw before your Red Brand superstars make the trip to St. Louis for the Backlash Premium Live event. And we are wasting little to no time here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and tag team action gets us underway almost immediately. The young OG is in the building once again, and he has some scores to settle with two members of the Monday Night Raw roster.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall. Introducing first, from Greensboro, North Carolina, weighing in at 180 pounds,
For Javon Evans tonight, there is business that needs to be settled with the Vision. He did not like how the Vision handled their business last week when it came to Jacob Fatu. So tonight, Javon Evans and the Visionary Seth freaking Rollins take on Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to kick off the show here in Denver. Of course, Javon Evans, this man, Seth Rollins, and Bronson Reed will all be a part of the fatal four-way matchup to crown the Intercontinental Champion at Backlash. And Seth Rollins told Javon Evans for one night and one night only here tonight, he will have his back. But after that bell rings to end the matchup, it is every man for themselves heading into St. Louis. The Visionary is ready for war.
and his partner from Davenport, Iowa, weighing in at 225 pounds, Freaking Rollins.
One has to wonder, ladies and gentlemen, deep down, does a little part of Seth Rollins believe he is responsible for this tirade that the Vision has been on these past couple of weeks? I mean, Seth Rollins is the one that brought the Vision together initially. And now, as you see, they've already taken out Jacob Fatu as evident of last week. And then they almost took out Javon Evans last week before Seth Rollins came running down for the save. Initially, this was not Seth Rollins' business, but now it has become his business, and he is looking to put the Vision out of business just before Backlash. Javon Evans and Seth freaking Rollins stand together here tonight. They stand side by side as they look to put a nail in the coffin in the Vision's plans just before Backlash. But with the Oracle by their side, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than they've ever been in their careers. And we've seen the evidence over the past month leading up to Backlash. This is going to be a good one.
And their opponents, accompanied by Paul Heyman at a combined weight of 580 pounds, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, these two men are possibly the most dangerous duo in the WWE today. Like we said a few moments ago, they took out Jacob Fatu in a ruse that had to be set up by Paul Heyman, where it was a 2-on-1 assault, and Jacob Fatu was just massacred. I mean, they called it the Boston Massacre for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Jacob Fatu will still be out a couple of more weeks with his injuries. But then we saw Bronson Reed go 1v1 with Javon Evans later in the night. And just when Javon Evans looked like he was starting to build momentum to get himself back in the contest, hell, to possibly win the matchup against Bronson Reed, we would see the emergence of the badass Braun Breaker, and he would also make his presence known, spearing Javon Evans in half. The mission for the Vision last week was to make sure that Javon didn't even make it to Backlash, but then of course Seth Rollins came in for the save. And now that leads us tonight with our opening contest, Javon Evans and Seth Rollins taking on the Vision. Javon and Bronson Reed starting things off as you see here. And now Javon, oh my goodness, a stunner taking down Bronson Reed early on. And Javon Evans fired up to start this matchup here tonight. And now, oh my goodness, well, another headbutt by Bronson. And I believe it was a headbutt by Bronson Reed last week that immediately took Javon out of the contest. But Javon, though, has learned from his mistakes last week, and it seems like he is going to get back at Bronson Reed here tonight. And now Javon Evans with a nice moonsault down onto the big Aussie. Falling into the cover and an immediate kick out at 1 by Bronson. Well, of course, Javon Evans, even Paul Heyman was surprised to see the young OG step up to the Vision so easily. As here's a tag to Seth freaking Rollins. The Visionary is in the battle now. Of course, we were saying Paul Heyman was very surprised to see Javon Evans step up at the, to the aid of Jacob Fatu. Fumbling over our words here. Of course, Javon Evans, as we said, did not like the way the Vision handled their business with Jacob Fatu, and he wanted to step up to the plate. And what the hell is Paul Heyman doing in the ring? Well, I guess any means necessary to stop the Visionary, but Seth Rollins taking down Bronson Reed with that sling blade. Braun Breaker now taunting the Visionary, but Seth Rollins is not going for it. Flying through the air, immediately taking out Braun Breaker. Seth Rollins is on one to start the contest here tonight. And now Rollins back to Bronson Reed with the Falcon Arrow. And the Visionary and the young OG to start off this contest have all the momentum here in Denver. Of course, as we said, Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, and Bronson Reed will all be in St. Louis for Backlash to fight for the Intercontinental Championship along with Solo Sikoa. That will be the fatal four-way matchup to determine who will walk out as the Intercontinental Champion. Javon Evans, though, gets back into the matchup after a tag. And right now, Bronson Reed all out of sorts. This is a complete 180 from what we saw last week. And now here comes Javon. Oh my goodness, flying through the air, taking out Bronson Reed now. This is a complete 180 from the Vision from what we saw last week in Boston. And now what's going to happen here? Wait a minute, Bronson Reed. Oh my goodness. And I believe the back of Javon's ankle probably landed on that apron. We almost said Jacob Fatu there. I don't think the Vision will like that very much if we called one of them Jacob Fatu. We all know how the Vision feels about the Samoan werewolf. But after that body slam, it seems like the Vision are starting to weather the storm from Rollins and Evans. So now Evans sitting to the corner. We've got a tag. In comes Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, of course, labeled as the future of the business by many. As you can see right there, he has the power to back it up. And now all of a sudden, Javon Evans is in trouble. Rollins gets the knee up on Braun Breaker, and that might have just pissed off Braun even more. Oh my goodness, there's our world's strongest slam. And right now, Braun Breaker of the Vision all over Javon Evans. It is not looking good for the young OG. This is looking more like what transpired last week. Just the pummeling of Javon Evans from the Vision. And all Rollins can do right now is just watch on the apron. He has to watch as Javon Evans gets decimated days before he has to travel to St. Louis. And now Braun Breaker has a hold of Javon Evans. And now these unprotected shots to the back of the head of Javon. It's not looking good. Braun Breaker now gonna head to the top row. What is Braun looking to do? Oh my God, there's a big splash down onto the young OG. Got a cover now by Braun, but Seth Rollins gets into the ring to break it up immediately. Not even going to allow Braun to get a 1 count, but Rollins is now taken off the apron, and oh dear. Braun Breaker is now looking to put his hands on Seth Rollins. Well, Rollins, though, with the reversal, gets Braun Breaker back into the middle of the ring. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman has the attention of Javon Evans, and Javon cannot allow something like that to happen. And now Braun Breaker's furious. Braun Breaker now once again with those unprotected shots to the back of the head of Javon. Now Braun Breaker has Javon Evans, throws him into the corner and gets the tag to Bronson Reed, just throws him across the ring now. And now they're in a 3-point stance. What exactly are these two going to do? Double shoulder tackle. And right now, Javon Evans is not looking too good. And now Bronson Reed has a hold of Seth Rollins, and they're making sure that their former leader is not getting really any type of run in this match. Just taking out Seth Rollins whenever they can. And they've really shown over the past month that they really don't need Seth Rollins to cause the carnage that they want to cause. And now Bronson Reed with that knee drop off the second rope. Into the cover now. Javon Evans in huge trouble. This could be it as Paul Heyman looks on, but we've got a kick out. And Paul Heyman telling Bronson Reed, hey, we got to finish this one right here, right now. Don't get too mad, but you got to make sure you finish the contest. We cannot allow Javon Evans to start fighting back in the matchup like he is right now. Javon Evans now starting to throw some strikes with the big drop kick. Down goes Bronson Reed. And now, oh my goodness, there's Braun Breaker with a hot shot. Immediately just taking out any momentum that Javon Evans was looking to build. But Javon Evans is not going to allow that to stop him. Javon with a running knee strike. Big running knee by Javon Evans. Bronson Reed gets the tag. Javon gets the tag. In comes Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. And now look, you can see Paul Heyman here on the apron taking off that padding to expose the turnbuckle. Rollins, on the other hand, didn't notice it. As right now, Rollins is taking out Braun Breaker. Rollins now on the second rope. Here comes Seth Rollins jumping up to the top with the crossbody. Into the cover now, Braun Breaker in huge trouble, but he gets the shoulder up at 2. Now Seth Rollins looking to keep the momentum building, looking to keep the momentum on his side for his team. As Rollins with a dropkick to the back of Braun Breaker. Seth Rollins now starting to build the momentum, starting to get back into this contest. And Denver, Colorado, live here in the Ball Arena, is on their feet for Seth Rollins. Rollins now with that big knee strike to Braun Breaker. Of course, Rollins assembled the vision, assembled Braun Breaker, assembled Bronson Reed because he believed that they were the future of the business. And you know what? He might have been right, ladies and gentlemen. He might have been proven right. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, they could be the future of the business. But with the way they've gone about things, that was not the vision that Seth Rollins had for them. And now Seth Rollins taking matters into his own hands to try and take out the visionary. But with the distraction from Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker able to get himself back into the contest with that chop block, taking out the knee of Seth Rollins. We all know the history of knee issues that Rollins has had, but it seems like it didn't matter because now he has the discus forearm to get back into the match. Get the tag. In comes Javon Evans. And now they pull Braun out of the corner and send him right back into the corner. Javon Evans in full control. Here comes the springboard with the splash down onto the back of Braun Breaker. Rolling him over, hooking the leg, but Bronson Reed breaks it up immediately. And now look at this. Paul Heyman once again distracting either Evans or Rollins, doing anything he can to make sure that the visionary, and oh no, to make sure the visionary and the young go, gee, don't have any momentum. And that just might be exactly why. Now Bronson Reed taking Rollins off of the apron. And this is not looking good. Braun Breaker's off the apron now. Seth Rollins is in huge trouble. What is Braun Breaker looking for right here? Braun Breaker now, spear to Seth Rollins, and now a tsunami. And that could be all she wrote, but he's not going for the pin again. This is the same thing that happened last week. The same thing happened last week. Bronson Reed would hit the tsunami, but would not go for the cover. And now Braun Breaker with a spear to Javon Evans. That could do it. The cover on the young OG, but Seth Rollins breaks it up. How did he get up so quickly after that first spear from Braun Breaker? Well, Braun Breaker not too happy, talking a little bit of trash to the Visionary. Meanwhile, Javon's back up into the crucifix, hooking Braun Breaker, but we've got a kick out. Kick out by Braun Breaker. And now here comes Javon Evans standing in the middle of the ring, rolls away for the tag. Seth Rollins back into the match. Rollins now throwing the strikes on Braun Breaker. And now Rollins, kick to the gut here. Oh boy, we've got a pedigree. The cover on Braun Breaker, but it's broken up by Bronson Reed. My goodness, what a contest this has been. And now Rollins takes out Bronson Reed off the apron. Now has Braun Breaker up on the top rope. What is Seth Rollins looking to do? Meanwhile, here comes Javon Evans. Rollins takes out Braun Breaker. Javon, oh my goodness! Completely missed Bronson Reed. Rollins, oh wait a minute! What the hell is this? The Tongans, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa hit the ring, and they're taking out Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Meanwhile, here is JC Mateo at ringside, and he has a hold of Bronson Reed. Well, the match has already been thrown away, ladies and gentlemen. You heard the bell, and it seems like the MFT, the family of the fourth man in the Fatal 4-Way matchup, Solo Sikoa, have hit the ring, and they are making their presence known here tonight. And on the other side, near the entrance ramp, we have the big man Tala Tonga taking out Javon Evans. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker have already been dealt with. Here we go. There's the camera switch. As we said, the big man taking out Javon Evans near the ramp. Well, we were wondering when Solo Sikoa would make his presence known in the field of the Intercontinental Championship contest. Of course, he really had not interacted with any of them, but it seems like he has built up this plan here tonight after he heard that there would be a big tag team matchup, and there's a big choke slam by Tala Tonga. Javon Evans and the rest of the field that was in this tag team contest tonight, not looking good at all. Oh my God! Nobody's going to be 100% going in to Backlash. Nobody but Solo Sikoa, Tala Tonga, another choke slam on the ramp. And the MFTs have taken out the Vision, Rollins, and Javon Evans as Solo hits the ring. Solo Sikoa wants that Intercontinental Championship by any means necessary. You heard what he just had to say. That was a warning shot to the entire Monday Night Raw locker room, and if they think that can't happen to them, they don't know what's coming. It's all going down in St. Louis for the Intercontinental title. Reed, Evans, Rollins, and Sikoa. One of these men is walking out of Backlash as your Intercontinental Champion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final Raw before the Backlash Premium Live event. And here tonight, we have two more matchups that could shake Backlash to its core. We need to see who is going to be fighting for the WWE Women's World Championship. The first matchup to determine that will be Stephanie Vaquer taking on Io Sky. That is sure to be a good one. And also, later tonight, this is your main event matchup at the least, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of this contest will take on the winner of Karen and Sky at Backlash for the Women's World title, as it will be the Nightmare Rhea Ripley going one-on-one with the man, Becky Lynch. And then also, that was announced last week for tonight, the big face-to-face. CM Punk and Gunther have been at each other's necks. They have been at each other's necks to prove who is truly the best in the world. Well, tonight, apparently they both agreed to not put their hands on each other. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's a big face-to-face just before their World Heavyweight title clash at Backlash. And one of the parties has arrived in the building, ladies and gentlemen. The best in the world, CM Punk, has arrived to the Ball Arena here in Denver. And he will be going face-to-face with the Ring General later tonight. That is going to be an explosive situation. But right now, we need to see which one of these women will fill the first slot for the Women's World title matchup in St. Louis. It is time for Sky versus Vaquer.
It's scheduled for one fall, making her way to the ring from Tokyo, Japan, Io Sky.
All the women in action here tonight in these matchups, all four of them are former Women's World Champions in their own right. So we are going to see exactly just who wants it more, who wants it the most, who wants to become the Women's World Champion. And Io Sky just could be one of those women. One of the most loved, if not the most loved superstar here in the WWE. Former Miss Money in the Bank as well is Io Sky, also a former women's tag team champion, a former WWE women's champion. There's really almost nothing that Io Sky has not done in this business, ladies and gentlemen. And she is taking on a woman that wants that big prize just as much as she does. The Dark Angel has arrived. You know, I'm not going to say that Stephanie Vaquer is playing favorites. Obviously, I believe Stephanie Vaquer would love to take on any of these women for a championship. But if there's one woman that might be at the back of her mind, one woman that she needs to prove her worth against, to prove herself against, it must be the Nightmare Rhea Ripley. On the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, Stephanie Vaquer was victorious over Natalya. And then we would see the emergence of Rhea Ripley, and those two would stand face to face. I would have to say personally, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that would be a big money matchup. But the only way we can get that is if Stephanie Vaquer completes the first step and she is able to pick up the victory tonight over Io Sky. And that is easier said than done. This matchup's underway, and Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky gaining energy from the WWE Universe. So now here we go. Both of these women walking to the middle of the squared circle. And now Io extending the hand to Stephanie Vaquer, and she obliges. Great sportsmanship shown between these two women. It's about to go down. This is going to be a good one. We lock it up in the middle of the ring, and here we go. This matchup is underway. Going to see who is going to get the positioning that they want. Io already with the waist lock. Let's see what's going to happen here as Io Sky has Stephanie Vaquer locked in pretty good in this waist lock. Stephanie trying to find any way she can to fight out of it. We've got a schoolboy here by Io and not even getting a 1 count. Now both of these women stand in the middle of the ring. They lock up once again. And now Stephanie, oh boy, now she has a hold of Io and a pin here and not even going to get a count right there. Stephanie. And already a fast start between these two very, very talented women. And I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, out of any of the 4 women that are competing here tonight, I'd be fine with either of these matchups. I mean, all 4 of these women very capable of being the world champion. We're just going to see who wants it just a little bit more. The WWE Universe might be 50-50 in this contest here tonight. Io Sky and Stephanie, 2 of the most beloved superstars we have in the WWE today. And now we see these 2 going 1v1. And I got to say, this might not be the only time we see them going 1v1. I'd love to see more matchups between these 2 in the future, but we've got to stay in the present. We've got to stay in Denver, Colorado here tonight. We've got to stay in the present of the Ball Arena, where we have Care and Sky going 1v1 to see who punches their ticket to St. Louis. So far seems to be still the feeling out process. Both of these women, it doesn't seem like either of them have a clear advantage so far, but maybe Stephanie Valkyr is looking to build that advantage over Io Sky. Now into the tree of woe goes the Genius of the Sky, and now driving the knees into the gut of Io is Stephanie Valkyr. You got to think wherever they are, the man Becky Lynch, she's watching this matchup very closely. And Rhea Ripley, of course, the best friend of Io Sky, she also has to be watching this matchup very closely to see who they could be possibly facing at Backlash. And now Stephanie, big headbutt to Io. In the last few moments of this matchup, it seems like Stephanie Valkyr has gotten open. Well, never mind. Me and my big mouth over here talking on commentary, speaking before things are really over. As now Io with the big spin kick, taking down Stephanie Valkyr. And as I was saying something, Io Sky seems to be getting the momentum back into this contest. There's a splash off the second rope. Another cover here in this contest, and a kick out at 2 by Stephanie. Now Io has a hold of Stephanie, looking to get her back to her feet, looking to deal some more damage. Now Io Sky, big DDT, taking down Stephanie. And right now the Genius of the Sky is back in control. I don't know what that was from Io. Might be losing her marbles a little bit here. Trying to figure out exactly what she wants to do. Maybe just lost her sense of direction. I don't know what just happened, but regardless, she's still in control. Stephanie is down. Now Io looking to head to the top rope, looking for something big here against Stephanie. Big punch there by Stephanie. And now Stephanie takes Io off the top rope. She cannot allow Io to use the aerial attack to her advantage. Off the leg drop, Stephanie's going to go for the cover here on Io Sky. And we've got a kick out by Io at 2. This has been a very close contest. Neither of these women have really built a little bit of distance in this contest. Seems like every time one of them get the upper hand, the other one is right there with the counter, ready to stop them. Now Stephanie on the apron. Io is down on the ground now, starting to get back up to her feet. And now Stephanie, double axe handle, jumping off the apron. Stephanie Valkyr now is back in control. It's been a back and forth affair in this contest here tonight. Stephanie now with the hold of Io. And now, oh my goodness, that's a backbreaker. Io might have hit her leg on the announce table as well. And now Stephanie will get Io back into the ring as referee Rob Zapata has continued his count. But it doesn't matter because these two are now back in the ring. Rob Zapata now has got to get into position for this cover that Stephanie has on Io, and she gets the shoulder up otherwise. Very methodical pace it has been in this contest. As now, wait a minute, Io now starting to fire herself up a little bit. Io Sky now starting to fire up, pushing Stephanie to the corner. And now Io has Stephanie on the top rope. Stephanie not looking too good. What is Io Sky possibly looking for? Io now taking down Stephanie with that Hurricane Rana. Excuse me, more of a Frankensteiner it seemed right there. But regardless, Stephanie is down and Io is in control. And Now Io off the ropes goes Stephanie. And now here comes Io Sky. Tilt-a-whirl DDT. Down goes the Dark Angel. The Genius of the Sky falls into the cover, hooking the leg of Stephanie Vaquer. Oh my goodness, how close was that? That could have ended this contest, and Io could have possibly been making her way to St. Louis. Another DDT there by Io, and Stephanie Vaquer seems to have been busted open. Now this contest is starting to pick up steam a little bit. Now these two are starting to throw out all their big maneuvers. Io now files to the top rope. Big splash by the Genius of the Sky. Into the cover once again, looking to win the contest here. And another close call for Stephanie Vaquer. What does Io have to do to put away the Dark Angel? Stephanie's going to continue to fight. There's a clothesline taking down the Genius of the Sky. Now there's a code breaker as well. Double knees to the jaw, to the face, whatever you want to call it. Regardless, Io all out of sorts. And now Stephanie, eat defeat right there to Io Sky. Denver is on their feet as Stephanie heads to the top rope now. There's a big leg drop there, an avalanche leg drop off the top rope into the cover, hooking the leg of Io Sky. There's another close call. This time Io had to get her shoulder up. Like I said, this contest is now starting to pick up steam as, oh my goodness, Io kicks the rope and takes down Stephanie. As, oh my goodness, these big strikes by the Genius of the Sky. Backing Stephanie into the corner once again. It is not looking good for the Dark Angel. Another big strike by Io. The WWE Universe on their feet. Oh boy! The Genius of the Sky with the Spanish Fly off the top rope. Denver is on their feet. Io to the top rope now, looking for the finishing touch with the over-the-moon salt. Into the cover. Io Sky is going to Backlash. No! Unbelievable. Stephanie Vaquer kicking out of over-the-moon salt. And now Io looking to go to more drastic measures with this cross face locked in. Stephanie's right there at the ropes, so I don't think she realizes it. Io's got it locked in, and she's got it locked in good. Will this be the end of the dream for Stephanie Vaquer? And no, Stephanie able to roll out of the grasp of Io Sky. Stephanie Vaquer now making Io run the ropes, but then they run into each other. There's a big kick there from Stephanie. This has been a phenomenal contest. Oh, wait a minute here. Stephanie Vaquer looking for the SVB. Excuse me when my voice cracks. The SVB by Stephanie Vaquer. And Io also gets the shoulder up. The SVB didn't do it for Stephanie. The Spanish Fly into the over-the-moon salt for Io didn't do it. Both of these women hitting their best shots, and it didn't matter. What do you do now? Stephanie off the top rope, and Io moved out of the way. She crashed and burned. Now Io is on the apron. Never mind, she's going to get back into the ring. Io Sky is feeling it. The WWE Universe doing Io's taunt. And now there's the baseball slide with the kick. And now Io Sky with the springboard with the crossbody of her own. What a contest this has been here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these women giving it their all for one goal, to get to Backlash. And unfortunately, only one of these women is going to get that spot. Io back to the top rope. But wait a minute. A second over the moonsault. And this one to the back of Stephanie Vaquer. You've got to be kidding me. Stephanie got the shoulder up again. What do you do if you are Io Sky now? 2 over-the-moon salts, and it meant absolutely nothing. The Dark Angel is still in the fight. Now both of these women in the middle of the ring, you can see that they are tired. You can see that they are spent. They have done everything to each other that they could possibly think of. But it doesn't matter. They have to keep going. Who is going to get out of the deep waters and who is going to go to Backlash for the women's world title? The hockey fight is on. Both of these women giving it their all for the Ball Arena. And now Stephanie has a hold of Io again, the second SVB of the matchup. Here's the cover, there's the 2 count, and there's a 3. No, there's not. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm speechless. I don't even know what else you do if you're Stephanie or Io. They've got to figure out something, though. One of these women have got to get to Backlash. Stephanie has Io on the top rope. Io in huge trouble. Stephanie with the superplex down in the middle of the ring. The WWE Universe is getting a treat. Now Stephanie heading to the top rope now. And oh my goodness, Io is just a little bit too far for that avalanche leg drop that time. Io is still down though, so still, never mind. Io starting to stir Stephanie. She's got to find a way to take out Io. And now wait a minute here. Look at this submission here by Stephanie. Looking to take a page out of Io's book. The pinfalls didn't work. Let's see if we can get the job done with this submission hold. Has the leg hooked and has Io in a compromising position, but the Genius of the Sky still has fight left in her. Io gets out of that one, and now here we go. Io Sky kick to the gut, into the Mahi straw, has the cover, the shoulders are down. Stephanie's in trouble. She's able to kick out at 2. And now Stephanie with a big forearm. And now with the pinfall she tried at the beginning of the contest. Will she be able to catch Io here? Io gets the shoulder up as well. And now Io taking down Stephanie Vaquer once again. Io Sky to the second rope. And tried the double axe handle. Stephanie moved out of the way. A flush super kick hits the jaw of Io. Stephanie to the top rope now. Looking to fly. The big splash lands flush on Io Sky, and it finally secures Stephanie Vaquer the victory. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, that one was a barn burner. An early match of the year candidate, if I do say so myself. That is what it's all about. Both of these women want that women's world championship, but at the end of the day, only one out of these two was going to be able to make it to Backlash, and Stephanie Vaquer has punched her ticket to St. Louis. A very gamed Io Sky here tonight, unfortunately, could not get the job done. This is not the last we will see of Io contending for the women's world title. She will be back. That is a guarantee. But as of right now, La Primera is headed to Backlash. And now all she does is await her opponent. Well, we are back live here on Monday Night Raw, the final Raw before the Backlash Premium Live event in the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. And it seems like things have just started breaking down as the Empress Asuka seems to have found Alexa Bliss backstage. It's just now beating the hell out of her. Of course, as we all know, on the season premiere of Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago, we saw Alexa Bliss and her tag team partner, her best friend, Charlotte Flair, go 2v2 with the Kabuki Warriors in Kairi Sane and Asuka. Of course, the Kabuki Warriors successful on that night against Bliss and Flair, but it seems like Asuka may have a little bit of unfinished business with Little Miss Bliss, and now she's just beating the holy hell out of her. Of course, Asuka found Alexa backstage, and Alexa was blindsided. We couldn't get a camera back there until just a couple of moments ago. And Alexa has not been able to get out of the blocks of this brawl, and she's just been getting the hell beat out of her. Now Asuka has a hold of Alexa Bliss. Oh my goodness, Alexa might want to, oh my God! Well, Asuka with that flush super kick to Alexa Bliss nearly fell through the table. Instead, she fell onto the chair and onto the floor off of that ledge. Alexa Bliss getting the hell beat out of her. Where is Charlotte Flair? Where is Kairi Sane? We need to get somebody to break this up. And now Asuka, oh my goodness. That overhead throw through the table. And Alexa Bliss is down and out for the count. We need to get some help back there for Alexa Bliss. Just a brutal assault from Asuka, and we don't even know the motivation behind it. Well, we've got to move on. We've got another women's contest here tonight. We saw Stephanie Vaquer win her contest. She's going to Backlash. It is time to figure out who is going to be her opponent. Rhea Ripley looking to make the most out of this opportunity here tonight. Of course, her best friend Io Sky, unfortunately unsuccessful against Stephanie earlier tonight. So maybe Rhea has a little bit more motivation. Maybe she's looking to do this for Io, on behalf of Io. And she is also possibly looking to finally get that confrontation with Stephanie Vaquer in the middle of the squared circle. Of course, as mentioned earlier tonight, Rhea Ripley confronted Stephanie Vaquer on the season premiere Monday Night Raw. And then the next week, Rhea would come out and clear the air, saying it was nothing personal towards Stephanie. But she just wanted to remind the WWE Universe and the women's locker room here on Raw of the pecking order. And she says she welcomes all challengers to her throne as she is on the quest to once again become the Women's World Champion. But she's got to get through her opponent here tonight. A woman that believes that only she deserves to be the world champion. And she has a chance to prove it against one of the very best. The man is in town. Rhea Ripley is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best in the business today. But her opponent tonight, many consider the greatest of all time. Becky Lynch has done it all in this business, but she wants more before she officially calls it a career. She believes she still might have another championship run left in her. And now it is her chance tonight to get her spot in St. Louis. It is her chance to prove that what she's been saying might be the truth. It is time for her to prove that she might be the only woman that deserves to be the women's world champion. And that starts here tonight if she can defeat Rhea Ripley and go on to Backlash. Both of these women cannot think about Stephanie Vaquer. They cannot think about St. Louis. They have to worry about tonight in the Ball Arena, and they've got to worry about each other. Now, Becky Lynch out of the gate looking to do some taunting to the WWE Universe, telling the WWE Universe just how great she is. Oh my goodness. And that big kick nearly took her head off. Well, now they're going to lock up here. I don't know how you lock up after that. Well, I don't know how Becky Lynch even has her bearings after that big kick. I mean, my goodness. I believe she almost got knocked out after that one. Now Rhea Ripley, though, is back in control right on top of Becky Lynch. And now throws Becky in the air, and she lands face first on the canvas. And this is a great start for Rhea Ripley. Becky Lynch, this is not the start. This is definitely not the start that she was looking for. I mean, she was talking a little bit of trash, speaking to the WWE Universe, and then she got a kick to the back of her head for her troubles. Rhea tried to go for the leg drop, but Becky Lynch rolled out of the way. Needed a little bit of space. I mean, just a big start from Rhea Ripley out of the gate. Rhea going to allow Becky to get back in the middle of the ring. Becky gonna take her time. Here we go, back in the middle of the squared circle, and it's time to fight once again. Locking up in the middle of the ring here is, Rhea misses that headbutt, and Becky takes advantage with the uppercut. Now Becky Lynch might be looking to gain control. Here comes the man. A multi-time women's champion, a former women's intercontinental champion, former Royal Rumble winner, has main evented WrestleMania. Like I said, there's almost nothing that Becky Lynch has not done in her career. Now Rhea Ripley's turn to get back into the middle of the ring, and we're right back to square one. We're going to lock up in the middle of the ring once again. Both of these women in a feeling out process. This is almost the same as how Stephanie and Io started earlier tonight. Becky Lynch, though, able to move out of the way of Rhea Ripley. Now here comes Becky with these big chops to the Eradicator. And now sends her to the other corner. Sends her all the way to the other side of the ring. And now more chops for Rhea Ripley. She blocks that one, though. Not going to allow another chop from Becky Lynch. Now Becky sent into the corner, and now big strike there by Rhea. Which Ripley looking to do now, stomping a mud hole into Becky Lynch in the corner over there. Rhea Bloody Ripley back in control. Now Becky's in trouble. Rhea Ripley, what's she looking to do here? Has Becky Lynch up. And now big power bomb as she walked around the ring with Becky up top. Into the cover in the middle of the ring here by Rhea. Kick out at 2 by Becky Lynch. Lynch is in trouble. Of course, Lynch knows Rhea Ripley all too well. These two women would face off at WrestleMania 40 for the Women's World Championship. And on that night, Rhea Ripley would be successful, retaining the gold. At that time, she was the champion. And you got to think, Becky Lynch, she did not forget about that. That has to be in the back of her mind as she faces Rhea Ripley here tonight. Will she learn from the mistakes that she made on that night in Philadelphia? Becky Lynch now has Rhea on the outside. Rhea and Becky on the outside, and Rhea sent into those steel steps. And that right there might be the definitive turn in this matchup. Becky slides in and slides out. And now Becky, my goodness, with a crucifix there. Did not hook with it. Of course, she cannot win on the outside. Becky knows that all too well. But she has a hold of Rhea Ripley. And now what's she looking to do? Face first off the apron. Back into the ring now goes Rhea Ripley. Becky Lynch looking to follow. Looking to make sure Rhea Ripley does not have the time to recover. This is what makes Becky Lynch so great. This is why many believe she is the greatest of all time. The attention to detail, the urgency, everything. Every move that Becky Lynch makes is with a purpose, and that is why she is a multi-time champion and a future Hall of Famer. Why she was labeled one of the 4 horsewomen. And she is looking to prove that tonight against Rhea Bloody Ripley. It's a nice judo throw there by Becky, attacking the arm early, possibly setting up for that disarmer later in the matchup. And right now, Becky Lynch has been all over Rhea Ripley ever since she threw her into those steel steps. It has been all Becky in this contest. Onto the second rope goes Becky. And now, wait a minute. What the hell is Becky Lynch looking to do? Oh, my goodness. Well, we don't see Becky pull out a moonsault every day, but that just shows you how important that Women's World Championship is to the competitors here tonight. We saw Stephanie and Io do pretty much anything they could to try to win that matchup earlier. Becky Lynch gonna look to do the same thing. Now, oh my goodness, a running back elbow into the corner, flattening Rhea Ripley. Now the running drop kick as well. Now what do you do if you're Becky Lynch? Continuing the assault, not allowing Rhea Ripley a lot of room to recover. Now Becky, what's the game plan here? Has a hold of Rhea Ripley, picks her up into the hot shot over the top rope. And right now, Becky Lynch in full control, and she's going to do a little bit more talking. We know Becky Lynch loves to talk trash, and here's the thing, there's not much people can do about it because she backs it up damn near every time. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as she continues to do what she's doing right now, Becky Lynch can do whatever she pleases. Not that she'd listen if anybody told her otherwise, however. Oh, there's a running leg drop by Becky Lynch. Into the cover now, Lynch looking to punch her ticket to St. Louis. Not enough yet, kick out at 2. Becky might be starting to get a little bit frustrated here against Rhea Ripley, but she knows how good Rhea is firsthand. Like I said, she was defeated by Rhea at WrestleMania 40. Now Rhea Ripley is now starting to get back into this match. As you can see, right over the bridge of the nose, Becky Lynch has been busted open. There's that headbutt that Rhea was looking for earlier in the match. Now Becky is now out of sorts, and Rhea Ripley is starting to fight back here. Big back elbow to Becky Lynch. And now Rhea Ripley, a running drop kick of her own, giving Becky a taste of her own medicine. Here comes the Eradicator. Now Rhea Ripley sending Becky right back to that corner. Now putting Becky on the top rope. It's not looking good for Becky Lynch. Oh dear. What's Rhea Ripley possibly looking at playing right here? Possibly looking for a big superplex is Mommy, and Rhea Ripley got it. Into the cover now. Rhea Ripley looking to win. Becky Lynch in huge trouble here off the superplex. We got a kick out. She thrusts the shoulder up. Not enough for Rhea Ripley to punch her ticket to Backlash, to punch her ticket for the Women's World Championship. You see the blood falling from Becky Lynch's face, starting to stain the mat here. Becky sent over the top rope. And now Rhea Ripley with a stun gun off the top rope. Becky hits the ground. And now Rhea is here on the apron. Oh my goodness, flying off the apron with a huge splash down on a Becky Lynch. Throwing all caution to the wind is Rhea Ripley. All of this just to make sure she has a chance to fight at Backlash for the Women's World Championship. There's a powerbomb on the apron, and oh my goodness, the side of Becky's head going into that screen. Rhea Ripley is in control, sends Becky back into the middle of the ring. And she believes that might do it, and with the way Becky ricocheted off that screen, it could. Into the cover, hooking the leg of the man. And Becky Lynch, though, is still able to get the shoulder up. Not enough for Rhea Ripley. Becky crawling to the corner, trying to use the ropes to help her back up to her feet here. And now face first off the turnbuckle goes Becky Lynch. Now Rhea Ripley's going to put Becky right back on the top rope. Possibly looking for another superplex. Becky, though, able to kick her away. There's a chop here by Becky Lynch. Multiple chops here by Becky. Trying to fight back into this contest is the man. What's Becky's next move here? And now Becky, she's going to put Rhea Ripley in the corner. She's going to put Rhea on the top rope. What the hell is Becky Lynch now possibly looking to do? Looking for some redemption, and we may be looking for an avalanche Bexploder. The Bexploder suplex off the top rope. Into the cover now. Rhea Ripley's in huge trouble. In the middle of the ring, does the Eradicator have anything left? And she does. A kick out at 2. A Bexploder by Becky Lynch off the top rope is not enough to put away Rhea Ripley, and now Rhea sent to the outside by Becky Lynch. At this point, Becky might be looking for a count-out win. She'll take anything. You can advance to Backlash with the count out, so Becky Lynch might be looking for the best strategy for herself right now. Rhea Ripley's already stirring. She's back up at a count of 4. Well, that plan failed for Becky Lynch. Oh, and she got a boot for her troubles, did Rhea Ripley. Now we can see that Becky Lynch is starting to get furious. Oh, wait a minute. Becky now grabbing that arm, and she's locking in the disarmor. The disarmor has been locked in by Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has the disarmor locked in. Rhea Ripley in huge trouble. Becky looking to do whatever she has to do to win here tonight. And no, Rhea Ripley is able to slip out of it. Becky does not have enough to win the matchup. Big kick to the gut here. And oh, wait a minute. Reversal by Becky. She caught that boot. There's a forearm to Rhea Ripley with the running bulldog. And now Becky Lynch heading to the top rope. What is the man looking to do? What the hell is Becky Lynch doing? Oh my goodness! Another moonsault from Becky Lynch into the cover now. And Rhea Ripley got the shoulder up. Becky Lynch pulling out all the tricks out of the hat here tonight. We don't see Becky Lynch really do moonsaults. Where the hell is she getting this from? Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason. Wait a minute. Rhea Ripley now hooks it with the riptide. No, Becky Lynch got the shoulder up. A riptide out of nowhere by Rhea Ripley, and it is not enough to put away the man. This has been a phenomenal contest. Both of the women's matchups here tonight have been fantastic. And now Rhea Ripley, what is she planning to do now? Becky Lynch on her feet. There's that headbutt again. And now possibly setting up Becky for the razor's edge, and she gets it. Becky now up to her knee, into the big knee strike, the running knee strike that follows. Rhea Ripley falls into the cover. Will that do it with that running knee strike? Be able to put away Becky Lynch, and there's a kick out again. What do you do if you're Rhea Bloody Ripley? And now Becky is sent to the outside. The man now is in deep trouble. The WWE Universe has been enjoying... Well, wait a minute. What the hell? Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. That can't be... That's JC Jane from NXT. What the hell is she doing here tonight on Raw? Grabbing the ankle of Rhea Ripley. What the hell is this? And now JC talking a little bit of trash in the face of Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley not gonna have it, sends JC Jane falling to the floor. Well, the appearance of JC Jane, and now Becky Lynch back into the ring, taking advantage. What the hell is going on? Wait a minute here, something's not right. Oh, there's the manhandle slam. Something doesn't feel right here. Something smells fishy, ladies and gentlemen. Becky Lynch, another manhandle slam for Rhea Ripley's troubles. And you've gotta be kidding me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, not to take anything away from Becky Lynch, we all know how great she is, but something just did not feel right about that contest. The surprising emergence of NXT's JC Jane. Why was she here? And why now? Why tonight in this specific moment, costing Rhea Ripley a shot at the Women's World Championship? I just don't get it. I don't get it. What was the motive? What was the reason for JC Jane to be here, and what was the reason for her to cost Rhea Ripley against Becky Lynch here in Denver?
Here is your winner,
I'm gonna give Becky Lynch the benefit of the doubt here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even think she knew what just transpired between JC Jane and Rhea Ripley. There's JC Jane right now. Look at that. She feels proud of herself. Why the hell was she here tonight? Tainting this great match and telling Rhea Ripley, I mean, you know what? I just don't understand. She's not an official member of the roster. Why is she here? Well, regardless, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how it got done, the match is now official. Stephanie Vaquer and Becky Lynch will meet one-on-one in St. Louis, at Backlash for the Women's World Championship. It's sure to be a good one, but I'm just filled with questions. Oh, wait a minute. Well, after everything that just transpired, we also have to move on once again, ladies and gentlemen. The Ring General Gunther has finally arrived to the building. He is here in Denver. He is here in the Ball Arena. And he knows what he must do here tonight. He knows the agreements that he agreed upon. And it is going to be a very tense situation in the upcoming moments. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, the face-to-face that we've all been waiting for. Just before their clash at Backlash for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther, CM Punk, face to face. Ladies and gentlemen, the day is almost here. We are almost ready for our trip to St. Louis, Missouri, live for the first premium live event of the calendar year. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost ready for Backlash. And of course, this matchup was made official just moments ago. The Women's World Championship will be decided as the Dark Angel Stephanie Vaquer, who defeated Io Sky earlier tonight, takes on the man Becky Lynch in a questionable manner, who defeated Rhea Bloody Ripley. Should be a good one. Also coming up at Backlash, the World Tag Team titles will also be on the line. Two of the greatest tag teams of all time will clash, with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns taking on Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. That is not the only titles that will be decided at Backlash. Every title, almost every title, is on the line. Bronson Reed, Javon Evans, Seth Rollins, and Solo Sikoa. One of these men will walk out of St. Louis with the Intercontinental Championship. Also going down in St. Louis, the WWE Women's Championship of SmackDown. Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, has stood against the Judgment Day, has stood against Liv Morgan and the rest of her family. And at Backlash, these two will decide who walks out as the champion. And then, of course, there are big complications for this matchup. We will talk about that in a little bit. But as it stands, it is a triple threat match. The Judgment Day's Finn Balor, the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre, and the hometown hero Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. There are also more matchups that will be decided on this upcoming SmackDown. Ilya Dragunov won the first United States Championship Eliminator triple threat match, and we will decide who his opponent will be at Backlash as Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes, and Austin Theory contend in a triple threat match of their own on SmackDown. Also, the WWE Tag Team Championship Tournament is coming down to the wire. Both semifinals matchups will take place this upcoming SmackDown. One of them will be Nathan Frazier and Axiom of Fraxium taking on Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa of DIY. And then, of course, the winner of that matchup will face the winner of this matchup in the finals that will be taking place at Backlash to crown the WWE Tag Team Champions. The Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, have a tough task ahead of them as they take on Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis of the Wyatt Six. And of course, speaking of the WWE Championship, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Cody Rhodes takes on Dominic Mysterio with one caveat. If Cody Rhodes is able to defeat Dominic Mysterio on SmackDown, then he will be added to the WWE Championship match at Backlash, making it a fatal four-way. Backlash is looking very, very good, and there's just one more matchup that we need to see two people go face-to-face for, and the air is tense here in Denver. Here comes one half of the World Heavyweight Championship contest. This man is the best in the world. And he doesn't just call himself that to call himself that. The WWE Universe believes it as well because he backs it up every single time he steps in the middle of the squared circle. Wherever you go, somebody who is a wrestling fan is sure to know his name. A worldwide phenomenon is this man. And that man's name is CM Punk. CM Punk opened the season premiere of Raw a couple of weeks ago in Columbia, South Carolina, basically stating that with the reaction the WWE Universe gave him, that he is still the man and that he was here to stake claim to the World Heavyweight title. It's been a rough month for CM Punk. Of course, last week he was taken out by the man he will go face to face with in the upcoming moments. But the WWE Universe has never wavered. They have always loved CM Punk. And CM Punk, he is unapologetically himself. He doesn't care what he has to do or who he has to hurt. He will get what he wants eventually. And what he wants is the World Heavyweight Championship. But this time for Punk, it might just be the hardest task he might have to conquer. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. One of the most dominant professional wrestlers in the business today. Ladies and gentlemen, a former World Heavyweight Champion himself. It is the Ring General, Gunther. Gunther was the man that took out CM Punk a couple of weeks ago as they brawled throughout the arena. The show would end with the image of Gunther powerbombing CM Punk through a table and then choking him out, damn near putting him to sleep. This man is the man that is responsible for the retirements of AJ Styles and John Cena. Let that sit for a second. He is responsible for the retirements of AJ Styles, John Cena, and also, I forgot to mention, he is also responsible for the retirement of Goldberg. This is the matchup everyone is waiting for at Backlash. CM Punk, Gunther, one-on-one for the top prize in the sport. The top prize on Monday Night Raw, the World Heavyweight Championship. You can feel the tension in the air as these two men stare off face to face. Not a word has been said, but yet this image speaks many words. I don't even know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. This is an all-time moment. They got everything off their chest, ladies and gentlemen. But now the time for talk is over. The next time you will see these two men in the same ring will be at Backlash when they duke it out for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther and Punk 1v1 at Backlash. It's sure to be a good one, and they will see you guys there.